X-Men The Last Stand follows from the first two films, but largely ditches their tone, mostly due to the change of directors. Bryan Singer originally wanted to be involved in the film, but chose instead to direct Superman Returns, so he was replaced with Brett Ratner, who at the time mostly was known for the Rush Hour films. What follows is one of those overly bloated third entries that tries to do too many things. I've commented in the past about how the Spider-Man films and the X-Men films paralleled each other for a while. They both had decently entertaining yet flawed first entries, far superior third entries that were more exciting and character-driven, and then the third had too many plots, too many characters, and too many ideas to be any good in any one of them. It seems to be a curse that third entries face. It's not just those two films, but I'm also reminded of Iron Man 3. It seems that once a franchise gets going, they decide that they have so many stories to tell, so they start shoving them all into one movie. On the one hand, this is a movie about the battle between the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Mutants, with the catalyst being a supposed cure for mutation, an injection that can completely suppress the X-Factor gene, taking away a mutant's abilities and making them more or less human. The X-Men feel this is an offensive idea, as they don't see their abilities as being something to be cured. But they kind of take the stand that if people want it, they should have that option. Magneto and the Brotherhood are also offended, sure that humans will weaponize the cure and force mutants into extinction, and are fighting for survival. And it has the hallmarks of a good plot, especially since neither side is completely wrong. The issue is, with the last film, Singer had set up the idea for an adaptation of the Dark Phoenix saga. After Jean Grey died, it seemed like it would be inevitable, but instead of just doing a Dark Phoenix movie or waiting until after the mutant cure story is told to bring Jean back as the Phoenix, they awkwardly shoehorn her into this film. Cyclops is disposed of rather quickly, as the actor was also committed to Superman Returns and could not be in very many scenes, and what follows is an avalanche of characters both being introduced and killed off, some of them whose names aren't even mentioned. Are you a fan of X-Men characters like Psylocke? Well, she's sort of a background character with a few lines who gets annihilated in the final battle. And that's the problem. They tried to make a huge battle between two huge factions, but it's hard to care about so many characters when we haven't gotten to know them. The X-Men are reduced to mainly secondary characters, as the primary ones have either been written off or killed off, and it's hard to get into the new characters such as the Beast, who's played by Kelsey Grammer, or Angel, played by Ben Foster, who should have had a huge role in the film, as it was his father that developed the mutant cure based on his bigotry towards mutants, but we see very little of him and he barely affects the plot at all. There's a few good action scenes, but mostly it's just a showcase of as many mutant powers as they can show off. It seems as though Brett Ratner thinks that it's the superpowers that are interesting and popular to people, not the people who use them. Even Hugh Jackman and Anna Paquin don't do much for me in this movie, though I found Ellen Page as Kitty Pryde to be at least slightly interesting. Most characters flash by and are replaced by new ones before you can process anything. Worst of all are the cartoonish special effects, including horrible CGI for a flashback scene to make Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart look younger. And Patrick Stewart hasn't visibly aged in like 20 years. X-Men The Last Stand led to the series having to take a drastically different route. Not quite a reboot, but going to prequels instead, which I have found very interesting, which eventually led to a sort of soft reboot due to time travel. And for that, I'll give it a little credit. It was a film so bad that it saved the series. But I'll only give it a 2 out of 10. I'd honestly rather watch the cheesy cartoon from the 90s than this any day.